welcome back to the Give and Go. I'm your coach, Reynoso, with my boy
Soltero. What's up, y'all?
Why don't we kind of go all around the world here? You're going to be out of studio this week, and I wanted to just get your thoughts, your final comments on the second leg of UEFA Champions League matches, since I'll be going solo on those.
Okay. I just wonder if Bayern really have the conviction to win on the road. I haven't seen it all year long. Bayern are a good team. They have great players. But without their best player, Jamal Musiala, is the take I had last week. I just don't see Bayern as a team that can ultimately, make it to the semis. Whereas Inter, I think they're doing their job. They got the result away in Germany. They did what they needed to do. Now they just need to lock up, set up shop at home, and just take care of business. So I would like to say there won't be any surprises, but Bayern might have something to say. If they get an early goal, I actually don't know if I trust Inter.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's different. It's all of a sudden a different game. Barca Dortmund, that's done.
Barca Dortmund's so done, dude.
PSG Aston Villa.
I think that honestly, just as done. It'd be cool to see Villa, maybe get an early goal in front of their home crowd. It'd be dope. Okay. But I think PSG will take care of business.
Is Real Madrid pulling off a comeback?
Every Madrid fan thinks so. Every single person I talk to that follows Madrid thinks it's completely
it's happening, over. Bro. It's happening. It's happening. That's the thing,
man. Like, the more I hear it, I'm just like, oh.
I mean, what if?
It's Madrid. This is the Champions League. I feel like every year, the more Madrid gets doubted, the higher chance they have to actually shut them up.
And they're that type of team, like how Lakers fans will Photoshop any star player into their jersey. Giannis in a Lakers jersey, Jokic in a Lakers jersey. At one point, Doncic was getting Photoshopped into the Lakers jersey, and people just thought of it as a joke. But there was a little bit of logic to it, man. A little bit of a truth where, at the end of the day, it is the Lakers, and they can pull off that sort of deal. Same thing with Real Madrid and comebacks, man. It's always there. I'm happy you let me know what you thought about all four matchups. I'll be recapping that this week. It should be a pretty straightforward second leg round, but we'll wait and see. The Champions League could always surprise. I've been seeing, though, in football media, a lot of questions be brought up regarding some of these teams that I'd like to ask you, man. Yeah. And more specifically, looking at PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, who today or this weekend was able to get their match postponed. Do you see that?
Really?
They're not playing this weekend.
Wow.
Just straight up postponed it.
Well, hold on. Didn't they basically already win?
They've already won it. They've already won it, but they get to rest players, man.
Yeah, why not?
That's crazy. Well, apparently, I don't know if it's official, but the sentiment that I saw from online discourse was that Ligue 1 obviously wants PSG to do well in the Champions League. It's good for them if PSG go deep in the tournament. So let's help them out as much as we can. If they need a little rest, let's give them rest while, Bayern plays Dortmund, Real Madrid, red cards against, some Spanish team. All these other teams are finding it out. PSG getting a little bit of rest here, man.
You know what I would rather happen? I just wish PSG would just completely use their B team in a pro game.
That'd be fire.
In a Ligue 1 game, just use your B team. You have so many players already. You have so much money. Just use it. And you've already won the league. Why not showcase, get these youngsters some time? Obviously, it's not really meaningful. It's end of the season. You have nothing to lose. Like, you would get to rest your starting 11. Youngsters play. Luis Enrique can take a bit of a day off, and you don't have to postpone this game. It is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but the reason I bring it up is because I want to transition to this specific question about PSG, where I saw an answer that caused a lot of controversy online. So I want to know what you think about this, as you are an avid PSG fan this season.
PSG fan, man.
Where would PSG finish in the Premier League this year?
They would finish, I think, easily top two.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's between them and Liverpool. As we actually saw them duke it out, there wasn't a winner between them over two legs. They go to penalties. PSG's better than Chelsea. By far.
Oh, yeah.
PSG's much better than this version of Manchester City. I don't think it's even close. PSG Arsenal's interesting. PSG's Arsenal the only interesting one, and we might get to see that matchup. That's what's going to be really, really interesting to see when the Champions League semis come. But I mean, outside of that, bro, who's beating PSG?
I don't think. Dude, what's crazy is the video I saw online had them finishing below fourth.
They want PSG to win it because I do think they play really attractive football. Could someone play that in the Premier League. Week in, week out, that intensity, that level, I'm not sure they could. And I think part of the reason that PSG can afford to play that football is because of the strength of their league.
That's why I brought up the question, bro. They're sweeping Nottingham Forest. No disrespect, love Nottingham, but they're sweeping Nottingham,
club,
bro.
but
I mean, come on, man. Yeah, I agree. It's a battle for second, potentially even first if they're consistent. That's my only question is, can this team be consistent, in more grueling matches than what you face off against in Ligue 1?
For sure.
Thing is, in terms of the teams that they can face off against, they're still undefeated domestically. So proof is there for them to at least be a top 3 team in the Prem. I agree, man. I think they're a top 2 side, and it's just a question of them or Arsenal. And we might find that out with the Champions League matchup that is soon to beckon.
Dan, I'm realizing all Paris fans, I think, are just in Paris.
Yeah, I think so.
They have a lot of voice out there.
I think so,
bro.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
I think they would definitely finish top 2 in the Prem. They're an elite team this season.
And I'll use that as a segue to my next question for another question I'm seeing online that's causing a lot of discourse. Has this been a bad Premier League season?
Fun. This is a fun question because. If I have a little rule when it comes to European football. If you amass over a 10-point lead, it's done. No one's going to be able to catch up to you. Liverpool achieved a 10-point lead over Arsenal in February. And if you consider yourself to be a really competitive league, and not just a competitive league, the most, quote, competitive league in the world, if your best team has a 10-point lead in February when the league ends in May, I don't know anymore, man. I think it gets really tough when you just look at the teams in the Premier League specifically, because I think Liverpool have been amazing this year. So it's kind of hard to be critical of the rest of the league, given that, in my eyes, Liverpool have played some of the best football all season. Over Madrid, over Barcelona, over Bayern Munich. I'm hitting all the big hitters in Europe. I think Liverpool have played the best football on the most consistent basis. So all that taken into account, kind of makes sense that they got a 10-point lead in February. They're that good.
Yeah, I would say, from a Liverpool perspective, it's been a great season, man.
Yeah.
For the way they're playing and everything, but also your 2 biggest rivals, Everton and Manchester United, they're in the dust, bro. They're in the mud. 13th and 4th place, respectively, with Everton on top of Man U right now, man. For Liverpool fans, I think it's been an incredible season. I'm thinking from the neutral perspective, someone who watches the Prem and doesn't have a team, I would say it's been a bad season because of that point.
Yeah.
Entertainment-wise, the title race was done. The most intriguing thing was honestly the race for 4th place, because even the relegation battle is done, man.
Yeah.
Like, you add that on top of it, there hasn't been that much excitement at the end of the day looking back at the whole year. But if you're a Liverpool fan, of course, this has been a great year, and there's nothing to not enjoy but what's happened so far. But it's an interesting question because we have seen better title races in the past 5 years between either Liverpool and Man City or Man City and Arsenal. This does feel like the first year in a while where it's just Liverpool outright, probably since the last time they won it in 2019. And this topic leads me to my last thing that I want to highlight. Mo Salah, baby. Breaks the goals and assists contribution record in the Premier League with 45 golden nuggets, man, as he gets an assist today against West Ham. Liverpool defeats West Ham 2-1 after Mo had just signed the extension. Virgil van Dijk signs the extension as well, and he scores a game-winning goal to give us the victory. But Mo Salah, man, congratulations. If he's ever watching this show, bro, breaks an incredible record, one that he's been vying for a long time now, in a season where, I mean, he absolutely carries the Liverpool team in incredible ways, went off and has continued that level of consistency, which I am very, very happy about. Mo Salah, record-breaking year. Got nothing to say about my boy Mo, man.
No, insanely good year, man. I just wish we could see Liverpool in the Champions League.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's just this is just so weird.
Yeah.
It's just so weird because I feel like Liverpool's season has ended.
Yeah.
But it's just pure sentiment. Obviously, I still consider them an insanely good football team. Congratulations to Mohamed Salah. I just wish they were in the Champions League, man. Damn.
No, I agree, bro. I agree. It just feels like there was more to be wanted.
Exactly.
Of, major moments, big stages. This team would have performed great. So congratulations to Mo Salah. Is Real Madrid going to go trophyless?
Right. They're losing Copa del Rey for sure. For sure. There's no way they pull this off against Arsenal. There's just no way. So the Champions League's done. So that just leaves La Liga, which that's tight.
Still tight.
I guess tight.
4 points?
Yeah, 4 points. Still a lot of football. I think it's like 7 matches left.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. It could switch for sure. But if Barcelona is the other team they're trying to go against, I'm back in Barca, bro. So, yeah.
Damn.
Madrid's going trophyless.
Mbappe's first season at Real Madrid goes trophyless. Something's wrong, man.
Something's
right. Maybe something's right.
In what way?
Maybe Mbappe's a bum, dude. He's a cancer to a team.
There's just this curses, man.
Yeah.
Because like it's the same thing with Kane, but Kane's finally gonna, I think, get a Bundesliga trophy, which will be nice. But yeah, Mbappe's got plenty of League One trophies. Mbappe needs a Champions League.
Yeah.
That's what he needs. I don't think he really cares about a La Liga trophy or a Copa del Rey, to be honest. But more so, I do see it as a bigger problem for Madrid. If you can't beat Barcelona, basically at 2 attempts at it with the Copa del Rey and La Liga, and then the 3-0 against Arsenal just looks terrible. It looks terrible, and it might get worse. Or maybe something else happens. But right now, it is looking really bad for Madrid on a season perspective.
And what gets me is, even if they win La Liga and they get 1 out of 3 available titles, that still would be, I would say, ultimately underwhelming for Real Madrid as an institution. Does Trent Alexander-Arnold fix that? Like, how do you fix this? Is it getting a world-class midfielder? It can't be an offensive player. You're stacked up there.
Yeah.
Is there any fix that can be made in the transfer market, or is it just straight up run it back, boys, with a different, maybe different coach, or maybe with a different strategy or mental plan in place?
Yeah.
What changes going into next season?
For me, I just need to see if Ancelotti can change his tactics. Because if he can't, then that's, I think, clearly what has to change is how you manage the 17, 18 players that can start for this team. I think that's where everything changes. Obviously, the quality is there. I mean, they're so stacked offensively. The midfield's there. Maybe you could bring in like a really good defensive midfielder or someone who's really good on the ball and very calm in tight situations. You could do that, but I don't think it's necessary, just considering the quality that Madrid already have with Tchouaméni and Camavinga. And the defensively, honestly, it's pretty good. Asensio has been such a shining light for them at the back this season. He's been a revelation. So defensively, they're fine. If Mendy's healthy and then alongside Rudiger, it's a good backline. And Courtois has proven once again he's still one of the best goalkeepers in the world this season. So Madrid personnel-wise, they don't have a lot to fix. I really just think it's about managing it, organizing it. So for me, it's just all on Ancelotti. It's all on Ancelotti.
And are you ever going to talk about Atletico Madrid the rest of the season, or are we done there?
I just don't think there's been much to talk about, to be honest, outside of the individual performances from Julian Alvarez, Diego Simeone for getting the best out of this club, man. I'm telling you, I had such low expectations this season, and the fact that, we took Madrid to penalties in the Champions League, the fact that we were still somewhat in the title race in February, March, even a little bit, that's so much more than I could have asked for. And even Copa del Rey right now, we almost made the final.
That's true.
Almost.
Nice.
I just had zero expectations for Atletico considering the players that we have right now. Diego Simeone got everyone a 10 out of 10 performance, I think, from every single player. So I'm counting this season, honestly, as a massive success.
You have to. No, you have to. I agree with that.
It's huge.
Bro. Anything new you'd want in the summer transfer window that you'd be looking for?
I'm so curious to see what we're going to do with Griezmann.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has been our go-to guy for basically a decade now. I know he had a little hiatus when he went to Barcelona, but as soon as we got him back, he was immediately our main guy again. Mm-hmm. And we have not really had a player take the mantle offensively outside of Antoine Griezmann for literally the last 10 years. He takes up a big part of our wages, but I'm happy to have him. He's my favorite player of all time, bro. Like, he's my GOAT. So I'm just curious to see, do we keep him for another year? If so, then all right, then hey, we gotta figure it out.
It's gonna be so interesting.
Yeah, because I think we've seen this season I mean, just age catches up to you, bro. And it's really, really tough to play at the highest level. And, when you're approaching your mid-30s, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's tough. So I'm just really curious to see what Griezmann does with his career. Does he stay with Atleti another season? If not, what do we do with that space as a club? Do we just use that money and try to get another Joao Felix? Because that's what we did when we initially sold Griezmann. That failed actually pretty dramatically. Or do we try to get little pieces here and there, maybe try to build alongside Julian Alvarez? Really curious. There's so many questions, but I really do think it all lies on what we do with Griezmann.
Damn, man. Like, exciting time coming forward. A time of a lot of questions for Atletico Madrid. You mentioned a name there that just prompted another question for me. Joao Felix.
Joao Felix, man.
Which is the most overrated player of this list I'm about to give you? It's a community poll on our Instagram or on YouTube. It's coming soon.
Okay.
Most overrated player out of these four: Joao Felix, Darwin Nunez, Alejandro Garnacho, Kai Havertz.
Damn, this is a Hall of Fame of overrated players, bro. You really could pick anyone.
You could pick
anyone and have a good argument. I would say based off of output. Right, based off you said Nunez, Felix, Havertz, and
Garnacho.
Garnacho. Low key, just based off of output alone, I think Felix is the most overrated because he just doesn't do what you want him to do in front of goal. Not as much as Garnacho surprisingly scores more goals than I think most people would expect. Darwin Nunez, for as unclinical as he is, he at least still gives everything physically.
He got double-digit goals.
Exactly. Nunez gives his body on the line. It could be a lot more. And Havertz is a really interesting case, but he still scores the ball for Arsenal, and he's scored some big goals for Arteta over this last season. But when you just look at Felix, man,
he's hopping teams, dude.
Yeah, he's hopping teams, and it seems like no coach knows what to do with him. It just seems lost. And so when I look at the output of those four players, Felix struggles the most.
Sports. Staying on the topic of Champions League, one could say
the OFC Champions League.
No, man, no.
Auckland City just won that, by the way. I got to squeeze that in. All right,
there you go. One could say that the UEFA Champions League first leg quarterfinal matchups were, pretty predictable at the end of the day. We had some results that ultimately might end up rendering that second leg useless. You cannot say the same thing about CONCACAF Champions Cup, my friend, because every single matchup was competitive until basically the very end. We had four great matchups: Tigres, LA Galaxy, Cruz, Azul, America, Inter Miami, LAFC, Pumas versus Vancouver. And we saw some classic CONCACAF drama, some beautiful goals, some crazy fights, some crazy, pettiness.
Oh, my God.
And just, prime CONCACAF on display here, man.
And I got to give a shout out to my boys up north, Vancouver Whitecaps, bro. Balling out, might be one of the most informed teams in all of CONCACAF. If you look at the MLS standings right now, they lead the table, not just in the Western Conference, but in the overall table in general. And they just got their most important away victory in their club's history by drawing against Pumas and thus booking themselves a ticket to the semifinals in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. What a result in Mexico when honestly it looks like Pumas were about to win it. But at the death, Vancouver kept fighting. They get the goal and steal the semifinal spot. A massive result for the club, and it's just beautiful to see because they're playing such good football right now. And honestly, I would not be surprised at all if Vancouver go to the final.
This to me is one of the most impressive MLS victories I've ever seen, man. An MLS team going to Pumas Stadium, going to Mexico, and getting the result is ridiculous. I mentioned it when I made the prediction. I believe Pumas would be able to get the result here as they had an away goal going into their game at home, but then also they're just going to play in Mexico, and it's always tough. You always see these MLS teams ultimately crumble to like that Mexican pressure and playing away from home. And so I mentioned that if Vancouver is able to do that, then that's going to signify to me a team that is capable of some very incredible things, man. Very incredible things. The way that they did it, is crazy, bro. It's crazy, man, because when Pumas scored that second goal off the goalkeeper save, shoots it, crossbar, goes in, 87th minute,
Yeah.
I thought it was over. Yeah. Like, although I knew Vancouver only needed one more goal, I thought it was completely over with just that momentum shift, the way the Pumas had been building up to that moment. And I just got to say, man, what ensued in those following minutes was incredible tenacity, grit from this Vancouver team who just slapped up our very own Austin FC 5-1 yesterday, bro. Just continuing this path and this rise that they've been on this year, showcasing it on one of the biggest stages in North American football. All credit to Vancouver, man. They definitely showed a new sign of themselves that I have to pay my respects to. And I agree. They're a contender to win this thing, bro. And they're going to be given an opportunity, you could say an even greater opportunity to prove themselves on an even bigger semifinal stage against probably the most popular team right now in North America, man, Inter Miami.
Inter Miami, who I'm just going to come out and say it, they got lucky against LAFC. At home, Messi showed up.
Yeah.
I can't deny that. Messi scored actually a beautiful goal to open it up for Miami, but...
Oh, beautiful, man.
The handball that ultimately gave Miami the victory, because ended up leading to a penalty, just so unlucky for LA.
I thought it was foolish, man. It's foolish, bro.
No, it wasn't his fault.
But keeper should have been there. I thought you already messed up on that play. The ball was in the air for a good amount of time. The keeper normally is there. So I thought it was a little bit of luck from Inter Miami, but also like LAFC's got to be sharper there, man. Way sharper in these games.
Absolutely, but if that's how you win, it's tough if you're LA, and I think if you're Miami, you're lucky because it's a random handball. It's random. The player gets pushed, his arms up, and obviously it's clearly a handball. But yeah, I think it's bad luck for LAFC. Yeah, you have to be sharper, but I just think it's super unlucky. Miami take advantage. Now they have to play Vancouver. When I look at this matchup, especially looking at how Miami have been playing, they just played against a very feisty Chicago team today and struggled. Vancouver's the better team.
Yeah.
And I have Vancouver actually beating Miami, but this is going to be a hell of a task. You already just laid it out, though. If Vancouver proved it, that they can go to Mexico and get a victory, I think they'll be able to go to Miami and do the same thing. Maybe it's a draw, maybe it's a tight 1-0 result, but over 2 legs, I think Vancouver's quality and their identity right now is going to shine over Miami. I truly think Vancouver played the better football. And so, yeah, Miami's going to give him a hell of a fight. Do not get me wrong. I mean, Messi's on the pitch, right? Kramaski's playing pretty good right now, and the rest of the team is stepping up, specifically with Stadi. Their goalkeeper for Miami has been making massive saves for them. But I just think over 2 legs, Vancouver's going to be able to pull off a really beautiful result for Canada.
Oh, it'd be crazy. The thing is, they do have all the makings of a team that, kind of like Atlanta United last year, can knock out this Inter Miami team. You need a cohesive squad, one where a lot of different players can score for you as well. They have so many different weapons. And what I will say for Vancouver, what I like about them is I think their floor, like even when they play at their worst, is way higher than Inter Miami's floor, man. When Inter Miami doesn't have it going, it's bad football, man. Yeah. It's really bad, and we saw it in that first leg against LAFC. I just think that you could call it luck, you can call it grit. I think it's a little bit more grit, in my opinion, scoring 3 goals when you absolutely need it, especially being down 2-0 on aggregate. I think ultimately was a good thing for Inter Miami, a wake-up call, you could say. And I think they're going to pull it off, man. I think Inter Miami will be able to go to the final. You know why? Because they're on for the quadruple, my friend. They're on for the quadruple.
They're on. Vancouver's proving they're the best team in the MLS.
We got Champions Cup. We got the Club World Cup.
Yeah?
We got the Leagues Cup. And we got the goddamn MLS Cup, man. They're still on. It's still alive.
It is alive.
Inter Miami, Messi, I think, find a way to defeat this Vancouver side, rendering themselves a better team and going to the final with the utmost confidence to finally lift the trophy. I think that's what's in the works for this Messi team, man.
Well, that's the expectation.
Yeah.
That is the expectation, not just from Miami fans, but I think from the league in general. David Beckham himself bringing this team together in the first place, this is the expectation to win continental titles. If you're in the semifinal, I think it'd be a massive failure to not go to the final. But I truly do think Vancouver is going to have something to say about it. It's going to be, honestly, it's going to be brilliant matchup to see because Vancouver know their narrative. They know they're the underdogs. They know everyone wants to see Miami in the final against what will be a Liga MX opponent. but Vancouver can completely spoil the party, and I'm going for it. I'm all Canada, baby.
Oh yeah, dude, I mean, you should buy a jersey, man.
Yeah.
You should wear that Vancouver jersey on the pod. They got a nice jersey right now, man.
Yeah.
I like it. It's going to be a hell of a semifinal matchup. Folks, let us know, who do you have winning between Inter Miami and Vancouver? Two very interesting storylines, very different ones.
Yeah.
But, man, I mean, we're looking for a representative here for the MLS. I think either way, we're going to get a very entertaining one in that final. And on the other side of the bracket, we have two Liga MX sides, which will ultimately make for a Liga MX MLS final, which I'm super, super excited about. And those two teams will be Cruz Azul and Tigres. Let's go with Tigres here, who just defeated LA Galaxy 3-2 at home to get the victory, as they went up very early in this game, up 2 goals to get a 2-goal lead on LA Galaxy, who at the end of the day, I think fell short. Although they gave it their best shot, I think it was pretty apparent that LA Galaxy was the weaker team in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
And Tigres took full advantage at home, scoring 3 in total.
Yeah, I mean, the analysis for that game was looking at LA's form, man. It just hasn't been good at the beginning of the season, though I actually see signs of them somewhat picking it up. But for them, they're still in that kind of grind mode early on in the season. Tigres right now are doing well. I just thought it was going to be almost impossible for the Galaxy to get any result. I was actually impressed that they were able to get a goal in the first place on the road. So LA did what they could, but Tigres for sure the better team.
Yeah, so Tigres will move on to the final. They also had a crazy matchup against Monterrey this weekend, which created some crazy video. You see Nahuel Guzman? You see what he did on the touchline, bro?
When he was trying to defend the penalty? Yeah, bro. Insane, man.
I've never seen anything like that, man.
Dude, and the way Ramos is playing right now with Monterrey, he's he's playing like he's the number 10. He's like everywhere. He's involved in every single piece of action. But it makes sense because he really is that good.
I think it's in his contract as well. No, like legit. I think he has these crazy stipulations for when they sign him that ultimately make him like the utmost alpha of the team. Like, he's taking free kicks, bro.
Yeah.
Like, when did he ever really do that for Real Madrid?
Yeah, bro. He's setting up like he's Declan Rice. And he's a center back. Like, he never really did that. No. He was always good from penalty.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's always good from that. But you're right, bro. Yeah, man. He's completely just like, alphaing this team, man. He could do whatever he wants. But, yeah, what's crazy is Tigres ended up having the final say in that match.
That was crazy.
They ended up getting 2 pretty late goals, and Monterrey, just on the losing end of that result.
And on the other side, we had Cruz Azul versus America facing off for the second time out of 3 in the past 2 weeks, basically, bro. With finally goals happening. Cruz Azul scoring 2 against his America side. Sepulveda with the brace, and a very good one too at that.
Yeah.
Giving Cruz Azul finally, in what seems like a long time, in a big matchup against them, giving them the victory to go on to the semifinal, man.
Yeah. America are missing Martin. I think he got injured, it's been a month now with an ACL, I believe, and his absence is being very felt right now. America just don't really have a striker to look to. Zendejas has been a little bit out of form, and when they do get the ball in, there's really no player there. There's really no player there. Fidalgo ended up getting the goal for them in their game against Cruz Azul, but outside of that, man, 0-0, and then they just played again 0-0,
man.
So America right now are struggling to finish their chances, whereas I mean, for Cruz Azul, I say this is good news.
That's huge.
Good news in the sense that they have not lost to America 3 times now in a span of 14 days. Like that's the exact opposite of what you'd expect if you're a Cruz Azul fan. So for them, I think undoing these past results, getting past America, going to the semifinals, this is great. And it just makes sense when you look at Cruz Azul's story arc over the last year. They've really tried to play good progressive football, and they've gotten very close to titles, very, very close. And the thing is, looking at them against Tigres, I like this for Cruz Azul. I think they're the better team. I have them going to the final. Winning it, I'm not so sure. But Cruz Azul over Tigres, I think is very, very doable. So you got to be incredibly excited if you're a Cruz Azul fan.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Arsenal situation we're seeing in the Champions League, where they fell short in the title race. Cruz Azul last season in La Liguilla fell short to America, but it's felt like for the past few years or past few seasons that they've been building towards something, man, towards silverware of some kind. Even, especially under Anselmi, they've grown into such a strong team in Liga MX, playing, in my opinion, very likable football. Faravelli, I love seeing him play. Bogus getting added, and he was very active in that game against America. Dita, Lira, Piovi in that backline, Rotondi. And then, the goalkeeper, Kevin Mier is basically as crazy as Nahuel Guzman. So we might see a matchup of the craziest goalkeepers in North America in that semifinal game between Tigres and Cruz Azul. I just really like the narrative for Cruz Azul. I like the style of football that they play. And I agree, defeating America is a big thing for their mental aspect, bro.
Yeah.
They overcame basically their biggest rivals so far in these past couple of seasons. And I think that's going to be huge for the performance that we see from them in the semifinals. So I'm actually with you. I'm going Cruz Azul defeats Tigres. I also just do think they play better, more safe, more organized football. Over 90, over 180 minutes, I see Cruz Azul putting in a better performance. Give me Cruz Azul against Inter Miami, but for you, against Vancouver Whitecaps for what will be, either way, a crazy CONCACAF final, man. Folks, let us know down below, who do you have winning these CONCACAF Champions League semifinal matches? And, you might as well tell us now, who do you have winning the whole tournament? Because we got 4 very good contenders that I think will make for a great representative of CONCACAF, hopefully.